Hey, welcome to Wiretapped Truths. We're 16 episodes in, 16 videos and a bunch of shorts for you on YouTube, and we appreciate all the support you guys are giving us. Um, we just had an interview with Savino, aka Chris Clanton. It was great feedback on that. We had Michael Clark Darnall, Julito McCullen. And then today
Kevin
we got.
Darnall.
I'm sorry.
Isn't it Michael Kevin Darnall?
I'm sorry, Michael. I'm sorry, Michael Kevin Darnall. Thank you, Jack.
Yeah, Michael Clark Duncan from Green Mile. That was.
I say, yeah. If we interview him, bro, we'd be next level. We bring him back and have him on the interview. Like, nah.
Well, he's dead, so I don't know how he did
Yeah,
that.
that's what I'm saying.
John Coffey.
Rest
Coffey
his soul
style.
too, man. Rest in peace to him. You know.
Yeah, Michael Kevin Darnall. I'm sorry. Yep, you're right, Jack. And then we did a bunch of episodes where we're coming up on the season 1 finale, and then season 2, which I'm looking forward to tremendously. But today we got a special guest for you guys. We got the only guy who can answer who shot Snot. Who gave us the introduction to the greatest show of all time, I think, and the greatest intro of all time on a TV series, Mr. Kamal Bostic Smith, and my co-host Wiretapped Truths, Leland, and Mr. Jack Simmons, stand-up comedian. So we're gonna get into the interview. Everybody good to go?
Let's go.
That's good.
So Kamal, who shot Snot?
I ain't going to no court.
How did you? We often talk about the intro. We say like this is the best intro, I think, to like a TV series ever. And it's the intro to the greatest TV series, I think. And it's so funny, the Wire fans, the people they know, because with Julito, we talked about like the possibility of somebody throwing a Wire con, with the Wire people, and I think it would be super successful, and I think one of the people there could definitely be you and Snot Boogie. Like I see people take pictures with Snot Boogie, like I met Snot Boogie. And it's crazy how a corpse who's like an extra has kind of become famous into the Wire universe, the Wire fandom. So how did you get the part, and has it affected you?
So back in I guess that was 2000, right? I was signed to Gail Williams' agency, GWA, in Philadelphia. And it was in conjunction with Sharon Carey, talent agent in New York City. So I got a call from Gail one day. They're, having readings for this new HBO pilot. And she sent me sides for Wallace. I got sides for Wallace. So I went down to Pat Moran Casting and auditioned reading the sides for Wallace, and got called back almost before, because I'm from Philly, so almost before I got all the way back home, I got a call back to come back down. I think I read for Wallace like 2 or 3 times, and then that final time I came down, they gave me sides for the opening, the part that I read with Dominic in the beginning, and I went back to Philly. I studied those lines and came back and just knew them all. And when I read with Clark Johnson, the director. He was in there with me. He was in there. I didn't read against him, but he sat in there for my final audition. And then about, I say, a week later, they offered me the role, and then I went to the reading because it was the first episode. So I had an opportunity to go back down to the reading. And Andre Royo was in there, Sonia San was in there, and a couple of other people who are, in the Wire. I can't remember everybody. I definitely remember those two because they walked in together. And some of the producers and a lot of the day players that were there for the first episode. So we wound up reading all the roles because it wasn't enough people to, read the parts. So, we read all the roles, including I read mine, and then some of the other roles too from the first episode at that table reading. I don't know how many table readings they had, but at that particular one, I read a lot of the lines, and so did some of the other day players. And then a week after that, I went down there from Philly. I hopped on the Greyhound with my they asked me to bring some wardrobe pieces. Bought some wardrobe pieces down, a pair of Guess jeans that I made that wound up being on the in the first episode. Like I just took some black jeans and walked over them with some bleached Timberlands, and you can see I got the jeans on in the opening. And they picked out a couple of pieces for me. Dewan, who was actually Snot Boogie laying on the ground, is one of the costume. He's like one of the head costume people for The Wire. So we actually still cool too. We talk every once in a while, but they okayed those jeans, and I wore that and some of the other pieces that they gave me, and we sat out there and we filmed. It was like a November. It was like right before they were leaving for Thanksgiving break. Everybody, Dominic's going back, I guess, across the pond, and everybody's just. So it was like the last shoot before everybody was dispersing for a couple of weeks before they came back to film the remainder of it. I don't know if they shot any out of order, but with that being the beginning, I'm sure they had shot some other stuff. I know, actually no, because when I got there that day for my scene, the first location I went to before we moved over was like some hospital in Baltimore before they took us all to the trailer by the cut rate, but yeah, so that's pretty much how I got into it. That's how I became a part of The Wire, became a part of history, and yeah, I'm here for it.
You guys tell that it was filmed in November because you see all the actors and the breath is coming out of their mouths and everything. It definitely has that like feel for it. I wonder like how long those shoots usually are for like a season. I imagine it's probably like a year in terms of like an entire season of television, but I'm not sure. Did they ever ask you about like coming on again as like an additional scene?
That never came up. It never came up, and like knowing what the series meant to so many, I wish I would have had the opportunity to testify or do something else. But I was never asked to come back. I don't know. Like I know a lot of the actors had managers. Like Trey had a manager. Trey Chaney had a manager. So I just had an agent, and I don't know how a manager lobbies for you more so than an agent. But he and I would talk about that because we did The Salon together. The movie The Salon with Vivica Fox. We did that together a few years after that, and I would talk to him about it. Like, man, you like really. You got in and took it there, and he's another one that I'm still cool with to this day. But we became cool from The Salon, not so much from The Wire. I didn't see him when I worked on The Wire, but yeah, my agent didn't do what his manager did. Let's just put it that way. I love her to death, but yeah, it didn't.
When did you sign on with your agent? Like, when did you guys develop that relationship?
So that relationship is kind of funny because in Philadelphia, my mom had a talent agency called Amani Associates, and her part were non-union agents. So I was booking stuff, Wawa commercials, and
Wawa,
teaching.
very Maryland's appropriate.
Yeah, teach
Jersey,
American.
right? Jersey.
Yeah, Philly first. So we actually have a Wawa train station in Philly. So I was signed to them, but after I had gotten so many SAG waivers and they were non-union, there was only so they couldn't really get me any work. So my mom was friends with Gail, and Gail had an agency. She was working with somebody else at the time. This is before she started working with Sharon Carey, and she kind of entrusted me to Gail Williams. So I was with Gail probably about 2 years before the Wire audition came up. A year into that, she kind of made the meeting with Sharon Carey, who's really big in New York and LA now. I mean, she always was. Even when we're talking about years ago, a lot of the stars on Broadway, a lot of the stars that were on Law and Order and shows like that, Oz, she helped get them roles. So yeah.
It's funny because I was telling like Jack and Leland, like, The Wire aged pretty good. Like if I go back and watch an episode of Oz, it doesn't stand the test of time, But
really,
like,
I still rock with Oz. Oz was one of those things that kind of got me into my Oz and The Sopranos were the shows that got me into my adult HBO experiences.
Right.
You know, it came from, you know, but yeah, I think that, you know, with The Wire, right? If you from the hood, or if you know about a hood struggle, like it's still the same struggle today. Like, you know, everybody has not been. I think it's more people that are from the hood than have been are still out here than have been to jail. So I think that's kind of why, and it's the same with like The Sopranos. Like we're not all mobsters, you know, but we can all identify with the street, you know, somehow, some way, through somebody we know or somebody we grew up with or something like that. So I think The Wire will forever be iconic just because of that.
Yeah, and The Wire shows like that gray area of life. You know, it's not so much black and white. You know, we get to, you know, before The Wire, like in NYPD Blue, or which was like I think the closest to a real good cop show.
Homicide. Remember Homicide? Because that's what it all came from.
Sorry, yeah,
that's what David Simon started from.
Yeah,
he wrote for that show.
Well, David Simon also did NYPD Blue.
Mm-hmm.
And
let's remember that guy like Stephen Bochco. I think he was the one who really started that whole genre of television. Go ahead, Bessie.
No, I was just saying, like, so, you know, we're used to the bad guy in the interrogation room that did it, you know, and that's the only part of life we got from him. With The Wire, we got introduced to like Avon doing, you know, the barbecue scene. I mean, throwing a dinner and getting to know them as people. Right, just not as a criminal versus cop, and I think that was like our introduction. I think that's why it is the greatest show, you know, because it gave us that gray area of like we get to know the person. You know, I think it's the greatest character study. You know, The Wire. So you know, it's funny. I think your dialogue with Dominic West is more than Wood Harris had in 4 seasons.
That was funny when you told me that. I didn't even.
Leland, is that correct?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
That's insane. I'll take it.
Yeah, I think so. McNulty and Avon don't have but 2 lines. I think.
Yeah, they don't interact.
Series, I think it's 2 lines. I think when they arrest him, and he's not even talking to Avon when they arrest him in season 1. He's talking to Stringer. He don't really even say anything to Avon, so that don't count. And then season 3 is he said in between those 2 days, you know, take some time and read the warrant, and that's it. That's it. You know,
that's crazy.
So do you have a story about working with Dominic West, the main actor on The Wire?
I do. I actually, he was cool. So I'll start off by saying that, you know, it's cold outside and it's just him and I sitting on the steps for, you know, quite a few hours. They give you little, you know, pads or things to sit on at times when they're doing close shots, so you're not getting cold. But I think it was, for me, our interactions when the camera wasn't rolling, just like some of the stuff that I had to watch him go through in development as an actor. And I always like seeing that. You know, my background is theater, so I like seeing people prepare. I love watching the preparation and him trying to pronounce boogie, Snot Boogie. And it coming out as Snot Boogie or Boo, like he was like, so how do the lips go when you do? Is it like do they go out when you like Snot Boo? I'm like, I don't know, man. Snot Boogie, it's just Snot Boogie. Like I don't know what to tell you, you know. So we had quite a few interactions, but he was really cool. And then after the shoot that day, because they were all breaking, like I said, to go in, you know, different directions for, you know, this holiday break before they came back. I can't remember if it was Veterans Day or if it was Thanksgiving, but I know it was November. Because Veterans Day is in November too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it was Thanksgiving because nobody's taking off for a whole week. That, you know, he's not going to go across the pond, you know. But anyway, right? They had there was a little gathering party at one of the set deck people, like, you know, one of the people that helped with the set decoration. It was a dope house. It's like a row house, but it was like you look at it from the outside and it looks like the house, you know, it would give similarities of the house where we sat in front of to do the scene, but it's like broken down behind, so it's like really 3 houses. There's a courtyard back there, you know. It's like it's really nice. So we kind of went there like right after filming, and it kind of gave me time too because my bus back to Philly didn't leave until like 1 o'clock in the morning. So, you know, I kind of got to go back and hang out with them. But, you know, he and I talked. You know, he was just, you know, kind of giving me my props, and I appreciate it, because at the time, like, I didn't even realize, like, Dominic West, 300, Dominic West, and then he's in The Affair, which is one of my favorite shows. Like, Dominic West is in everything, So at the time, though, me not really being a seasoned on-camera actor, I wasn't as familiar. Like, of course, it's not like Google now. Like, you can just hop on and, oh, this person is in this, that, and the third. I was focused on me, what I needed to do, and things like that. So, afterwards, after that day, like, I became kind of like, this dude is, like, he's been the real deal. This is not new.
He's top tier. He's top tier.
Yes, he is.
Top tier.
But
I have a question for you, Kamal. About pretty much stuff like that you've done since The Wire. And then you said you have a theater background. Definitely one. It's like a 2-part question. Do you still have the acting bug? Do you still want to get in the film or theater for that matter? Like, kind of walk me through kind of where you're at present day in terms of, I know they said you're a teacher these days. So kind of want to talk like about, do you miss it? Or have you ever thought about getting back into theater or filming? Like,
so I'll say that. So I'm a husband, father too, and my son is 4 turning 5, my daughter is 14, and my wife has a performing arts school, free to be performing arts center in Philadelphia. Wow. And I help run the drama department. So in the drama department, we do a movie every year, a film short every year with the kids. So we spend a whole year developing and teaching them about hitting your mark, or how to project versus not needing to project because you're on camera, and film picks up, things a lot better than trying to reach 200 rows in a theater. So we do a lot of stuff, teaching them how to audition, giving them the vernacular, what is copy, what are sides, and we do all of that. And I write a movie every end of summer, fall, that we do an audition, we do class. There's class first, and then we do an audition, and then we're on set from January to March every Sunday, and other days if needed. And then by the end of April, we do a screening. Then we put it up on YouTube. It's a secure link, just so the parents and stuff can see it. But we have a red carpet and everything, and we put it up on YouTube. So if you guys ever want to check it out, I'll send you guys a couple links.
Yeah, please send us anything that you all, because that's something that I was not even privy to. That's a big deal. It's not on the main forefront, but man, y'all do that every year?
We do it every year. We're on so this will be the 4th year that we're doing it. This will be the 4th movie, and they're film shorts, no longer than about 50 minutes. But some of them are. We did one that was a thriller. We did one that was a comedy. And we did one that was a little bit more serious. And this year I'm playing with the mockumentary style stuff like Abbott Elementary, because I want to see what that looks like. I like to challenge myself and the kids every year. So
that's deep. That's deep.
Yeah,
your purpose these days is more than just yourself.
To push it forward. Yeah, and I have some actors that I've worked that I still do I'll do coaching with. I'll do coaching sessions at the studio, or I'll do coaching sessions at my house. And, a couple people like Taj Boy Blaine, he's a young actor. He's in a lot of movies. He's in a lot of Tubi movies. He's in a lot of mainstream movies. I was sitting watching, it was some television show, and I was like, he's in this too. Oh, he's in that too. So, I work with a lot of young actors just to try to help them get to the next level, teach them the professionalism and the longevity and how to be able to accept no in this industry that is, full of rejection. You kind of got to take it on the chin like a beard and keep moving. Yeah. So, but that's so, and I'm never opposed to ever not getting back on the stage. If a opportunity presents itself, my SAG dues are always paid up. So I'm never, if they ever call, or if somebody has something that I feel is interesting and that I could work on or even audition for, I'm always down to.
Okay.
Do you have you mentioned a mockumentary? Do you have comedic background and everything?
Or a couple of years. I'm a funny dude by nature, I like to say. You know what I'm saying? I know that you're a comedian. I'm just a funny guy. Like I'm talking about in the office funny, at home funny, but
because your scene is funny opening. Like
it is.
Your
It
little,
is.
like, if you got a sense of humor, like your opening scene with him is like, man, it sounds like you want to say, man, shit, this is America, bro. Shit. Like, you know, like even that little that little moment is funny. Like,
Yeah,
and I
it
think
is
that
a pretty,
moment actually.
yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jeff.
No, I was gonna say it's a pretty comedic opening. Yeah, I agree with that. What were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say I think that line is what the whole series is about, right? Mm-hmm. From every standpoint. That line, I don't think I really thought about The Wire being McNulty's. It's the story of McNulty, Baltimore. Right? Yeah. It's the story of Baltimore. It's the story of McNulty, and I think him hearing that at the beginning kind of sets up everything, for himself and for a lot of stuff. For as small as the line is, it means so much, even to this day, Mm-hmm. So,
well, it's the whole absurdity of it, right? Like in the beginning, because it's. I love the intro because like it's like McNulty's he's just trying to get you to say who shot Snot, right? But in the midst of asking you, he gets genuinely confused. Like, wait a minute,
y'all let him play all the time.
Take the money every week. Wait, why was he playing? like he just runs into like a state of confusion. Like, wait, Snot Boogie did it every week. Yeah, right. You're like, yeah. Like, so that whole the absurdity is like hysterical too, because it's kind of like, it's true. Why did they let him? And This Is America is kind of like
a land of opportunity, man. You got to give them the opportunity to climb up and fall down every single time.
Well, we kind of discussed our theories about that line in the first episode of our podcast. We have our own ideas on what that means, but I want to find out what you think that line means specifically in terms of like the greater context of the show and about like the message about like This Is America. You got to let them play.
Yeah, I think, like I, had alluded to a little bit, this being a land of opportunity, like it's not always you get knocked down that first time, you don't have an opportunity to try again, right? In any situation, there's always some opportunity to either explore what you did or find another way to go about it. And I think Snot Boogie, his thing was, you letting him do this every single week. You letting him do this every single week. Yeah, we give him a chance to climb the ladder, and then if he gets knocked down, he can take another chance. But that was his last chance. Because at some point, you run out of chances, and it just so happened to him. So I think that with you even look at, like I said, McNulty and his back and forth and his rise and fall throughout the series. He was always able to, climb up that ladder a little bit. He might do something stupid or something might happen around him that encompasses him. But, he always had the opportunity to, even to that last scene when he was like, all right, I'm going to skip this ladder, get on get in this car out of Baltimore. I'm out of here. I remember when I first saw that last scene, I was like, dang, like, that's when it hit me. I was like, this is the story of McNulty. Like the Wire is the story of McNulty. Yes, it sees other avenues and other people that he knows, but it's literally the story about him going up the ladder, coming back down, going up the ladder, coming back down, and then going up the ladder to a point where he's just like, yeah, it's time for me to get up out of here.
Other than season 4, Kamal, and I think we talk about this almost every week. Other than season 4, every season is pretty much about McNulty. Like he's in the Western in season 4. And he's kind of low key, not really himself in season 4. I think that's why for a lot of people it stands out, and his kids involved, they carry the season. I think that's why a lot of people resonate so much with season 4. Let me ask you,
that's one of my favorite seasons too.
I was just about to ask you. We talked about this last week.
Probably my favorite season.
And can you touch on that for a minute? Come on, because we talked about this last week. We did like a random episode where we were basically just talking about why people dislike season 2 so much, and we were kind of touching on that as we go into it. Can you touch on those 2 seasons specifically for a second?
So hold on, actually, Kamal. Also, you answer that yes, but if you could talk about your godmother also while you're answering that, because I believe she's in season 2, right? Your godmother.
She's in season. She's in a bunch of seasons. So in this, I'll talk. I'll kind of segue into it from both sides. So she was a mover and shaker in the Philadelphia arts community. World travel, Joylette Harris, not blood related, but I remember we did a show together with the American Music Theater Festival when I was like, I think I was in like 8th grade or 9th grade, and my mother couldn't be on set, right? And, you know, you have to have somebody to kind of wrangle you. You have to have somebody that you know, when you're getting out of line, when you're working on the show, you know, nobody has time to check you. So my mom entrusted Joylette at that time with me. And Joy was like, look, he ain't never gonna get out of line as long as I'm around. The same way she was on the White. That's just how she is. Short. She don't play a lot of games, but she's hilarious, right? So, you know, from that moment on, she became like my surrogate godmother, and we did a bunch of shows together. We did the stage version of Cooley High. We did we worked with Freedom Theater here in Philadelphia. So every year we would do Black Nativity together. We did so many. We did a Campbell Soup commercial together. We did a bunch of stuff, the Nike commercial together. We worked together so much. I went to her house for Thanksgiving, and then listening to her tell stories, because she had been in the game so forever. Like she had a story, and I'll tell this because, you know, this is one that I appreciated. So she was doing a stage show with Lorenz Tate when he was probably like 12 years old, and his family came to Philly to shoot it, but it was him, his brother, and his father, I think, but it was like 3 or 4 of them. They came to Philly, and she kind of like took the same way she did for me as you know, maternally, she did for him. She's like, you know, they was in my house. I was, you know, she baked, she can cook. She's like, I, you know, made dinner, and they ate sweet potato pie, and my heat stopped working, so it was cold in here, but they didn't care. Like, so she's always been like that. But she's done so much stuff. She's in Philadelphia, Sixth Sense. She's in pretty much, if it came through Philly, she was in it. She was in it, like, so yeah. But she's definitely a mover and shaker, and she passed away 2 years ago.
Damn, blessings.
Yeah.
And the Wire, of course, you know, she's the wiretap operator. She's the know, the one that's sitting there, you know, uncrossing the signals or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and just getting back to what Jesse was saying about that opening scene with like how McNulty kind of represents that. I feel like it, yeah, I never really thought about that. He kind of is like the show's, he kind of always represents like that disconnect that I think a lot of people have to that system, and like saying like, even though it's unfair, you have to let everyone play, but eventually, you know, your luck runs out, like Snot Boogie and like politicians and everything.
Snot's ran out a lot faster than McNulty's.
Yeah. It's surprising when they had a British accent.
And come on, can you backtrack to what I asked you?
Season 2 and season 4.
Yeah.
So season 2, I felt like the docs, right? Everybody's like, oh, the docs. But my brother always, he loves season 2. That's his favorite season. He's set up for everything, man. Without season 2, you get the foundation. You don't get to the end of the show without season 2. So I watched. So I was telling Jesse, like, about 7 years back, they showed the whole series between Christmas and New Year's Day on HBO, and I sat and watched every single episode. Mm-hmm. And I didn't get disconnected as much as other people did from season 2. On the flip side, though, when season 4 came on, I think because I worked so closely with youth in Philadelphia, it connected me a lot more. I was connected to some of the stories that I was familiar with working in at-risk communities in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. You see Dookie, who's doesn't have any money. He's the kid but you didn't see naming who walking around with the name brand. I had the dynamic in the schools that I worked in. So I think I was very much attached to that scene, and just Kennard, he cracked me up every episode, man. Every time the baddest
kid ever on film, I think.
But so realistic to what we got going on sometimes in these classrooms.
He spit on Presbo's car at the end of season 4. He was a menace.
Kennard was a terror. He did us the menace.
And the funny part about it is I've seen him on the interviews. He's such a well-mannered kid.
Well, yeah, that like
But-
Napoleonic complex. He was a small guy, but had a lot of
He was
like
the smallest
anger,
as well.
What?
ferocity.
Oh, he
With the
killed
big-
Omar. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he was a menace. He was a little menace, man.
You know,
But yeah,
and
that was one of my
also-
unsung favorite characters in that season. Man, for real. Man.
That was
How did
you know, that was
introduce him?
one.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jesse.
No, I was gonna say that was one of the connections that most Wire fans know, that he's the one imitating Omar when they're playing on the thing, and then he
Yep.
ends up killing.
Mm-hmm.
In season 3, Jay, I know you're rewatching as we shooting the podcast. I don't know if you knew that. We never talked about it. But when Bunk is investigating, when the girl that got shot, when Omar and them were shooting out in season 3 as a kid, he's like, pew, pew, pew.
I get to
wanna
be Omar.
It's my turn to be Omar. That's Kennard. He's smaller. He's even smaller.
wow.
But that's Kennard too. So that's a foreshadowing moment into who kills him too. At 30 minutes in, we want to say please like, share, subscribe, comment, Wiretapped Truths. We appreciate the love. But yeah, Jack, I don't know if you knew that, but that's another Wire foreshadowing moment 2 seasons before Omar is
I don't
killed.
know. I don't know if Kamal knew that. Did
I
Kamal
didn't know that. Now
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm like, hey, his manager agent lobby for him to come back on the show.
He was,
That's
you know,
awesome,
it's,
man.
Oh yeah, so you know, and I'm sorry, Jack. I'll let you ask your question.
No, go for it.
Whatchamacallit. So I was wondering, you know, I was gonna, and you know, Leland asked the question first. They have done same actor, different characters on the show. Miss Anna, who's Randy's foster mom,
foster mother.
is the girl that Bunk sleeps with, that he wants to burn the clothes 2 seasons earlier. So they have done different. They have brought people back. So I'm surprised you never got, because you did such a good job on the opening scene. I'm surprised you never got like asked to come back as a different character.
And Kamal, I can see your face. I've seen The Wire 6 billion times. Okay, like probably no exaggeration. I never knew that until a week ago that that's the same actress. Randy's foster mother, and when Bunk sets the clothes on fire. I didn't know that. Her hair is different. Like I never put that together ever. Like,
and then
it's not the same character.
Yeah. No, and Jack, you know what's so funny? Some Wire fans kind of like read so into it. They're like, no, Bunk had sex with Miss Hannah.
Right, like, how do you know it's not the same person?
Nah, because it's different. Because Chris Parlow is in season 1, Jack. I don't know if you know that. He's extra. In season 1, he's in court. He's in a courthouse.
Yeah.
So we know he's
Chris Parlow from season Chris and Snoop is in season 1. He's in season 1 as an extra in the courts.
That's the very next scene right after the right after the opening.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we know Chris Parlow not no cop. So you know they do double up, and you know the theory that I posed probably 2 months ago, the guy that was robbing Bubbles, and then the guy that says to Lester, you got blue tops looking for blues. Come on, maybe you can give me some insight. You might not know. Is that the same actor?
I actually don't know. I don't know. I don't even. I have no clue. Actually,
they look alike.
But I will say this.
I will
say this. In acting and theater, you know, you entrust characters to actors, right? You expect them to go through character development, and if you trust an actor that much to bring them back as another role, so that the audience forgets who they were the first time. Like we're having this conversation how many years later, and some people are just realizing this, right? So clearly that actor did a great job at character development in both situations for them to be able to have a recurring role as another character, you know. So I just think that's kudos to the performance, to the development of the person who is portraying both roles. Like, shout out to them. I wish if I would have been given the opportunity, I would have did my scene study and got my stuff together too, and I would have been ready to go. You know,
Miss Anna, and that's to me is got to be one of the, if not the saddest scene in The Wire is when they set the house on fire.
When Wallace gets killed, that's kind of we just touched on that last week, man. It's those scenes are heartbreaking, man. But hearing Randy beg and plead to Carver, you know, that is, that's a tough scene. Like that's tough. That's a tough.
If somebody doesn't shed tears during the kid scenes, they have no heart, man.
Yeah, man. Like, man.
Or when Kima gets shot, personally, I think that one for me always gets, you know. Is there a scene that gets you specifically, Kamal? Like that's every time that you're just like, goddamn.
It doesn't make me cry, or get me how my hair look.
Oh
good,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that, you know, we watched that situation. We watched them become, you know, tight. We watched that dynamic in that relationship, and you know, it had to happen for Michael to go. You know, for Michael to, it's that ladder thing again, right? It had to happen.
Because they were gonna hunt him down if he didn't take care of Snoop. They were coming for. She was coming for him that night. Like, you know, it was. You know, he wasn't gonna make it out. It had to be one of them. You know, Mike wasn't going.
Right.
How my hair looking like, that was good. You know, and it's that speaks for Felicia too, right? Because it's kind of like Snoop is a monster, right? Chris and Snoop are monsters, but she brings this humanness to the character, like when she buys the drill and the home.
So the guy she buys the drill from, that's crazy. You said that. We did a show called My Lord With a Morning at the Arden Theater. So I worked with him before The Wire. Yeah, wow. I worked with him before he was on. I think I had already been on it. He wasn't on it yet, but I worked with him. We did a whole like a 13-week run of a show called it was the story of Marian Anderson, who's a famous African American opera singer from Philadelphia, and he was in it. And I was only 5 characters in it, and he was one of them, and I was one of them.
That's dope. Yeah, and then she has like this sweetness about her when she buys the, you know, like the respect that she shows him and stuff. And it's kind of like she brings a humanness to a character that I don't think
she's a monster.
And it was her first time acting.
You know what, Jesse? 2 things about Snoop. So I know you probably know, like she's had her own run-ins with the law and stuff like that before. Like a lot of people say she's not even acting. You know, she's a solid individual though, when you hear her speak. Like she does speak with some. It's this sense of power whenever she talks. Like if you ever listen to some of her interviews, but it's a scene when her and Chris are doing a job. They board the house up, and she like, "Hey, you want to get some Chinese?" You know, like it's like, you know, we just kill somebody, but hey, shit, I'm hungry as fuck. Like, you know,
don't stop me from being hungry, right?
You know, like so. Snoop, if we ever manage to get Snoop on, man, I think she'd be a phenomenal interview, because when she speaks, bro, it's powerful stuff, bro. Because you know she's not lying, she's not capping about nothing she's saying. Like she's somebody I love to talk to, even just for 10 minutes. Like she got a story that is deeply rooted in truth, like for sure.
You know, you know the story about her, Kamal, right? How she got this story?
Michael K, rest in peace. Michael K, absolutely.
Did you interact with him any?
I didn't have any interactions with him. As a matter of fact, so one of my very close friends, Nakia Dillard, who plays Officer, he's in The Wire.
Lambert?
Yeah, Officer Lambert. He's Officer Lambert in The Wire. He's when I tell you, he keeps in touch with like a lot of him and Jamie Hector are tight. Like, you know, they both have performing arts school. I know Jamie has one in New York, and I think and Nakia has one in Philly. I can Entertainment, I Can Act. So you know, they have a lot of they've kept their relationship and stuff. I think the person, like I still talk to Nakia, Brian Wilson. You know, he's one of my OGs too in the game. He's big on The Wire, and we've worked together. He beat my ass on stage in St. Louis Woman. So, you know, I'm sure you guys know Brian Anthony Wilson, you know.
Vern, right? Wait, Vern.
Yeah, but he's I still have, you know, I guess as, you know, I've gotten older and, you know, my life kind of is more focused around, you know, family, being, you know, a family man. You know, I kind of like strayed from keeping a lot of contact. Like Trey, and I'll talk to Trey like real quick on Instagram every once in a while. You know, like I'll see some DeWine. I'll probably talk to the most out of the people that weren't in Philly, because you know he always posts around the same to like the time that we filmed.
Next time you speak to him, tell him we'll like to interview Snot Boogie.
I sent him, like I said, you know, I'll pass the word along to those that I'm still in contact with: Nakia, Brian, DeWine, Trey, and you know, let me know if they jump on. That'd be cool.
Did you talk? Know if you are aware what happened to Trey recently? Did you talk to him recently about?
I haven't. You know, I sent
that was tough.
That was heart emoji for, but you know, his son. You know, I watch him and his son. You know, they got a super tight bond. So you know, watching him kind of break down on ABC News, man, that hurt my heart, man. Good dude. Trey is a solid individual. I'm like super cool. I remember, so this is after we did the salon. There was a club here in Philly, and he's on the radio. I'm driving to work. He's on the radio, and I was like, yo, that's my man. So I called the radio station. I was like, yo, it's, tell them that, that Trey's my homie. So whatever, somehow, some way I got on live, and we're having a conversation about, he's like, well, yeah, I'm gonna be at so-and-so after we shoot, come to this club. I'll meet you there. We'll kick it there. We're doing this live on, I think it was like whatever the radio station was, Power 99 or something. We're doing this live on the radio. So we connected that night. I got a chance to meet, I'm from Philly. I never met Freeway until that day because he's cool with Freeway. So, but he's definitely a solid dude. Nakia's a solid individual. Brian's a solid individual. I think, a lot of the actors that they got, because the show worked so well, is because the heart that these actors put in to their craft. All of these, like, I don't think, we recognize like some of the super seasoned actors that are in The Wire, because there's so many, it's so much. You got Idris Elba in The Wire, you got Wood Harris, these are awesome people. But then we also have, people that aren't that well known that have been killing it for years before, The Wire even came out. Like,
it's not and we have a I think it's our second episode, we touch on just how Wire actors, anytime you see them on something else, they command the attention. I don't know if you are a fan of a Law & Order SVU. I'm sure you've seen the episode. Everybody's seen Law & Order SVU, but it's a few episodes with Nick Zapaka in it, and
Paulo Schreiber.
He is an absolute menace. It's like some of their highest rated episodes in Law & Order, and his character in there. Like normally, they catch the person or they kill the person same episode. His stuff went on, I think, for like a season or two. Like they were
more episodes. I like that. That's awesome.
He was so smart. He was so intelligent. They couldn't put any evidence on him. He was like burning his fingertips off, so they couldn't get his fingerprints. Yes. Like it's unbelievable stuff. And then Bubbles, actor who plays Bubbles, I remember I saw him on Empire, I think a few years when Empire started, and I was like, he's the best actor on this show. He was a lawyer,
Dynamite, man. Yes, he was like a janky lawyer, wasn't he?
Was anytime you see the actors from The Wire and other stuff, man, it just seems like they really do focus on their craft. And the interview we had with Chris Clanton a few days ago, he told me even when Michael Williams was on set, he was still battling his addiction demons. So for him to still give the performance he's given and the stuff that we've seen him in, on top of battling those demons, it just shows like, man, these actors when it comes to this craft, man, they are special.
Yeah. And they all take it serious. We, like when somebody, I never forget, like, being young, people come up to you like, oh, you're an actor? Can you act something? I'm like, what does that mean? What does that mean? You want me to say a monologue? I say a monologue for you.
People ask me to do the same thing with jokes, man. It's just
you're a comedian, tell a joke. Like,
yeah,
that's what I do for a living.
Man, I get paid for this, man. Come on, man. Like,
I'll have a kid come to class and they're like, and their parent will be like, oh, they just need a little brush up. They already know how to act. Yeah. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? I still don't know how to act. Like, there's still stuff that I'm learning. Like, it's a craft. It's like LeBron don't ever stop. I'm like, oh, I already know how to play basketball. So I'm like, stop practice. I'm not going to, like so whenever somebody comes to me, I always got to kind of break it down. Like, no, that's not the truth. You don't know. Like, there's still more to know. I'm still learning. I'm teaching you, but I'm still learning. So.
Now, how did you? I wanted to ask before we get into that, Jesse, just because I always have so much respect for teachers. I have a background myself, and how did you get into that exactly?
So, with drama, and like I said, in Philadelphia, our community is not as huge, big as New York, right? So, a lot of us came through Freedom Theater. A lot of us came through Freedom Theater somehow, some way. So the oldest African-American theater in the country. It's no longer, the building is still there, but there's no longer classes. So a lot of us had our first experiences of learning. I went to the Walnut Street Theater. I went to Freedom Theater. I went to a bunch of different places, but I think Freedom Theater kind of took me in as one of their own, because I was young, I was still acting. Like, I was at Freedom still doing stuff, like, not just the stuff in the program, but stuff outside where I was making money professionally. But they kind of took me in, and I had an opportunity to do Cooley High, right? So I auditioned for Cooley High, and it was the stage play of Cooley High, and I got it. I auditioned with a singing group. There's nobody from the singing group got in. I got in, right? Because I kind of looked like Pooter at the time, right? So if you ever seen Cooley High, you know who Pooter is. And I got in that way. So after I did that, I was able to be an assistant teacher, a demonstrator in the program. And that kind of started my journey for teaching, right? So we're talking about years ago. And over the years, like I worked at camps, doing drama programs at camps. I started the film program at at a school that I was working at for like 10 years. I did a bunch of stuff. So that started it, and it just kind of never stopped. And then my job, like right now, I work for like helping with the funding for a lot of the after school programs in the city. So I still to this day, you know, feel like the voice of the youth is important. So, you know, I'm always, you know, asking what are a lot of these sites doing, or what a lot of these programs doing, so that we can hear their voice, whether it's video, whether it's a podcast, whether it's a film short or whatever. I'm always looking to advocate for that aspect, because that's the closest to my heart and what I'm most familiar with. So yeah, my teaching journey started, I would say, back at like 17, 18 years old, when I was just learning from other teachers. Fun fact, like I said, I did Cooley High with Freedom Theater, and then a few years later, they brought me back to do Sparkle. So I played Styx in Sparkle, the stage musical. But in the reading of Sparkle, the stage, the musical, Leslie Odom did Styx, and Jill Scott did Sister. So by the time we got to the stage, you know, I got Styx, and somebody else was Sister. But yeah, Freedom Theater. I say those two names just to kind of let you know some of the caliber of big people that come out of Freedom. Erica Alexander, Leslie Odom Jr., wow. Jill Scott, Reagan Gomez Preston, who was on Parenthood, you know, back in the day. There's a lot of people that come out of Freedom, and so much more. Miriam Hyman, who that's my dog. She's on what do you call it, on Power, the show with Tommy. She plays the DA on Power. So it's a lot of powerful people that come out of Freedom Theater that you know, I appreciate, you know, being a part of that part of history too.
And just speaking on, just because you touched on Power, are you a fan of the Power universe?
I am.
This is completely unrelated to The Wire, but it's as somebody that's such a big fan of The Wire, and I know Power is top tier entertainment, not necessarily top tier realistic, you know, situations in a way, but I'm a huge fan just because of the expansion of it. How do you feel about Power as a whole? Like, because we have Wendell Pierce, who's in Power in Raising Kanan.
He's in Treme too, like, which is another dope show that doesn't get a lot of credit, you know.
Yeah. So are you an avid like Power watcher too?
I am.
What are you watching these days? That's
so what am I watching? Is the Gilded Age. I'm a historian, so my wife kind of got me into, you know, she's telling me about it. So
that's fantastic.
I love it. I love the Gilded Age.
History guy too, and that show is great. Yeah.
I'm watching that right now. Kind of locked into that. But then, you know, I'll go back and rewatch, you know, series or things that, you know, like True Blood. I was watching that for a little bit. I went back and rewatched my man from, oh my gosh, I was just 6 feet under, 6 feet. It's on HBO. It's about the family that has a funeral home. I'm rewatching that right now. So I found myself going back and rewatching a lot of stuff. Power and BMF are probably the shows that are the most current that I'm in. The Gilded Age are the shows that are, you know, like right now that I'm kind of into. But I'll go back, like I said, and watch a bunch of old series just because, you know, it's awesome.
Yeah, I had no idea until. Go ahead, Jesse.
Who's your favorite character out of the Power universe?
Favorite character? Lorenz Tate.
Lorenz Tate. I know Jesse. You've seen some of Power, and Jack, you haven't seen Power. Lorenz Tate plays. Lorenz Tate plays a politician in Power who is, I don't even call him dirty. I should call him dirty.
Yeah, he's dirty.
Yeah, you know, he used to be a cop.
Yeah,
and he's a politician, and I mean, some of the dialogue with Lorenz Tate, man, is. When you see him on screen versus some of the other actors, right? Nobody really acts bad in Power. It's not like bad actors, but Lorenz Tate on screen is so commanding. Every single scene that you
status
see
in every scene, he makes sure he does too.
Like it scenes with Tariq, he's like, "Hey, run me that bread, Kingpin." Like it's just he's funny. He hits his marks. Like, man, Lorenz Tate is phenomenal in Power, man. It's good stuff. I didn't know all these years. I don't know how I missed it. I didn't know Wendell Pierce has been acting since the 80s. I did not know that. I saw like a recent. It's like a timeline that a lot of creators are doing these days, and they take the actor through their whole journey. You can kind of see them in their different roles, and they have the outfits on and stuff. I didn't know I didn't know he was in so many films.
That's what I'm saying. Like a lot of those actors in The Wire, like their background is extensive. Like I'm talking about pros in the game for years, way before even 2000, 2001, when The Wire was even talked about. So they got some high power cannons and that got a chance to work on that show. And just like I said, having the opportunity to work under, to be around that is, I mean, it don't get much better than that, for real. It really
I just finished watching a show on Netflix where Phelan was one of the main characters.
Okay.
Sneaky Pete, it was called.
Well, also you mentioned Cooley High, the original Cooley High. It starred Glenn Turman. Played Mayor Royce. Like it all comes together.
And they came and saw the show too. Glenn Turman and Lawrence Hilton Jacobs and Sean Patrick Thomas, who was Julia that Saved the Last Dance.
Yeah,
he played Preach in the stage show. So
he came off of Finding Forrester, right? Wasn't
no, that's another character. I auditioned for that. I auditioned Finding Forrester. That's the chess one with Sean Connery, right?
Yep.
I auditioned for
that. Yep. Finding Forrester, they were looking for like they were looking for an unknown also. So how close did you get on that part? Because I had a friend that got actually pretty close.
I think I had maybe like one callback for that. But it was a lot of movies that I was auditioning for at the time. I was going back and forth to New York. Like they had the bus, the $10 bus. I was going back and forth.
He was dedicated.
They still have it. Megabus.
They still got it. The Mega. Well, yeah. It used to be something like, now it has a name. It's called the Megabus. Before it was just a $10 bus. Yeah, But yeah, Finding Forrester. It was another one with that Derek Luke was in that he got casted in that I auditioned for. I probably got called back like twice. I auditioned for a lot of stuff back then. Like it's still Free Willy. I auditioned for Free Willy. Like auditioned for a lot of stuff. Like,
was it Antoine Fisher, the one with Derek Luke that you were auditioning for? I know he started that one.
Antoine Fisher. That's the one with no, it wasn't Antoine Fisher. It was something else. Maybe it was Finding. No, it might. So in Finding Forrester, does he explain the BMW logo where he's like the Bavaria? I think it was Finding Forrester. So it wasn't Derek Luke, because I remember that was the sides that I had for the audition. The experience, explaining Bavarian Motor Works BMW. So that was. So
as an actor's actor, right? Like who do you think is who do you think is one actor that perfected his craft? It's funny because I actually fell asleep last night because I was up pretty late, so I got to go back and finish watching it. But Denzel just did a movie with Spike on Apple TV. That came
my mom was watching it. Yeah.
I'll finish that, and like you just see Denzel, and you're like, man, him and Tom Hanks. I don't think there's like people like that. Those are people what's one actor who perfected their craft that you're like.
I got three. Denzel's always going to be up there for me. Philip Seymour Hoffman's always going to be up there for me.
Wow.
And Andre Broward, who he's always Homicide. He was on Homicide too. That's my first. I know he was on Glory. He was on a lot of stuff, but I seeing him on Homicide, was, I think those are like the three that I look at, and I'm just like. Yeah.
Tom Hanks, it's so crazy you mentioned Tom Hanks, Jesse. It seems like every time he puts a movie together, it seems like, yeah, maybe this could be an Oscar-winning role. Like I've always thought that with Tom Hanks. It seems like $1 Million Baby is one of my favorite movies. Like it's I don't know.
That's
Tom Hanks. He's top notch.
Yeah. Well, Andre Braugher, what's great about him is that he's also able to match that drama roles with stuff like Glory or Primal Fear, but then he's hilarious in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh, yeah, yep.
And just is so, and he does that with such deadpan. Like, do you think that's like especially difficult to balance, like as an acting coach, like balance drama and comedy together and have that kind of like range?
It's that thin line, man. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a thin line between comedy and tragedy, but like some people are able to do it very, very well and toe the line almost to where it's almost psychotic if they have to do it in one episode or one show or one movie. But I think that it's a testament to, again, character development and preparation for for, you know, whatever role you're attacking. You know, I sit down with my young actors all the time, and they'll read a monologue and it'll sound so flat. I'm like, well, who is this person? Who are you? And they'll start telling me about themselves. I'm like, no, who is this person? I said, color shoes, school. Like, I want a whole background, but I'm making it up. Yes, because you're creating the character. Like, I don't think any character just comes on. Like, I know for myself, even with Snot Boogie, like in that scene, like I had to ask myself, where are you coming from? What did you do all day? And I think a lot of that goes into play when it comes to preparation. And there's some people that take it super serious. And I think that, you know, those that take it serious are, you know, excel in the craft, you know?
Wow.
You know, I was gonna say, my son wants to be a filmmaker, but he's like thinking about it. Do you have any advice on like where he should go to school and stuff? He's a senior in high school.
I would say my advice would be, don't be afraid of the rejection. This industry and auditioning or submitting work, you might get 100 no's before you get that one yes. That, you know, and you got to be okay with that. You got to be okay within yourself and be okay with knowing that the work that you put out is quality enough for people to that it's not you. It's not you. It's just that's not what they're looking for at the time. Like, you know, and then I would say the other thing is, you know, try to explore all aspects of that industry. So in front of the camera, behind the camera, the sound, the grip, the, you know, the editing, the sit in the editing bay, you know, be all over it so that you can be familiar with everything that's going on, especially if you're a film director and you know there's a lot of moving parts on set while you're trying to focus on one aspect. You know what's going on. You don't have a question about it. So I would say that. And in terms of school, you know, find a school that works best for you, because my school journey, because I was in the arts, took me so long to graduate. I graduated from Temple when it was all said and done, but because of my journey, and you know, I would start class and then get a tour, or start class and then have to go shoot a film, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to miss the opportunity to do what I love. So I think you just have to, you know, find a school or the time, you know, to be when you can focus on it to do so. I didn't go back to school until I was able to focus completely on it, because I didn't want to do a whole lot of back and forth. From when I was locked in, and I, you know, got my degree. So.
And you know why it took you so long to make Freeway, right? Because Cassidy killed him for like 20 years. I'm joking.
Oh man, I remember that. And we don't get those battles like that no more. You know, put a beat on. Put a beat on. That's what he said, right?
That's crazy work. Well, man, Kamal, thank you so much. Jesse, do y'all have any other questions for Kamal before?
My final question is just gonna be, do you ever get asked about The Wire anymore? I mean, like, you don't look
the same.
Opening guy.
People be like, what?
I saw you on LinkedIn. And I'm like, no, this is not the same Kamal Bostic. And I'm like, and I'm like, but you know, do you get asked about it? And what did The Wire mean to you? Will be my final question for you. And then
so I still have. People don't come up to me and ask me. I mean, the whole first scene is on YouTube, right? But I have some friends that are jokers, right? My one friend, at some point it kind of gets old. Like, I'm old now. It's like I don't even look like that anymore. But we'll be out somewhere. He's like, you know, my friend he's the first person that was ever in the Wire. Yeah, him. Yeah, this guy right here. And then I don't want to seem like an asshole and be like, yeah, I appreciate that. You know, I also don't want to seem overly modest, but I'm like, yeah, you know, and I'll tell them, like, if you want to check it out, it's on YouTube. And they'll be like, oh. And it's only because the beard is still there. If the beard wasn't here and I had like a shaved chicken face, then nobody would really know. Like,
right.
You know, but yeah, you know, in terms of getting asked, my friends make sure that people still know about it. My brother,
and as much as you might not like that, that's them being your solid right hand man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
That's them giving you flowers when you might not even want them. You know.
Yeah, but it's my one friend Steve, man. My friend Steve Hood. He do that. We'll be at. And he's like a food and beverage manager at like Top Golf. So like we'll go when he wasn't, like when he was somewhere else. Oh, his coworkers. Yeah, this is him right here. I'm like, I get it.
He makes a scene of it.
He makes his own scene. But my brother he's the person that, because for a long time, like I didn't really take into consideration like just working that one day. It was a job, you know, and not being called back to do anything else. it just meant that it came and went, and I looked forward to seeing it when it came on TV. It came on TV.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know it was going to be that big. So it took me years to kind of process, like, bro, you're a part of history. You are a part of history. I'm talking about, like, when I say years, like probably like in the last 7-8 years was I like,
damn,
bro, that's you. That's you at the beginning of that. Like, nobody else anywhere in this world can say that about themselves except for me. Yeah, that's it.
And
so,
you know what, Kamal, just in terms of just certain stuff I've seen about The Wire years later, you know, the show is not syndicated. You know, it's actors. They were not paid a ton of money to do these shows, even from season 1 all the way to season 5. I think I saw recently the highest paid actor was $70,000 an episode.
That sound about well. I know. I still
some of them were like 40,000. Some of them were like 30. Like it's a picture on my phone that I saw recently, and it's not a lot of money per episode. Like
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised because I look at my residual checks just from that one scene and be like, should be like 25 cents. You know,
yeah,
costs more to make the check than it does to.
Right. You know, I mean, so from that perspective, in terms of just what the actors were willing to sacrifice in terms of what they weren't making. You look at certain shows today, some actors on top 10 shows, they might make $1 million episode. They might make 500,000 episode. Like Shameless, the top actor who was in Shameless, yeah, he was making. That's why the girl who played Fiona, that's part of the reason why she left, because she thought that she should have been earning as much as Frank on the show. She was making a modest, I think it was $800,000 an episode.
Bro, she wasn't even born when William H. Macy was killing it in Fargo, one of my favorite movies. Like,
a lot of people on the Shameless set, they said that she was I wasn't there, but I'm just speaking about what I've heard. They said she was a terror to people. If she was having a bad day, everybody was having a bad day. You know, she was hard to work with, stuff like that. But that's one of the reasons she ended up leaving. But just to look at that disparity, and Shameless is a great show. It's one of my favorites. It's not The Wire. The Wire is the best show I think ever, and I don't think it's close, being honest. As much as I love Breaking Bad, I love Power, I love Ozarks, you know, The Wire is, I still think there's a gap between The Wire, even Breaking Bad. And Breaking Bad is the most critically acclaimed show per, you know, the ratings and stuff like that. But I think The Wire is just the best show ever. I don't think it's close. There are no episodes like The Fly in The Wire. You know, that's that one episode in Breaking Bad where fans would be like, I don't like that episode.
Charlie Sheen, I think, was like the highest paid at the time too. He was like $1 million.
$2.5 million. Yeah. It was when he renegotiated his contract. I think it was $1 million plus, $1.5 million, something like that for $2.5 million. But the Wire actors, man, you all are a part of history. I say all that to say you all are a part of history. You know, regardless of the monetary, you know, stuff that y'all did or didn't receive, the history, it will go down in history forever. You know, regardless of what you all made or didn't make, the show is etched in history. It's 23 years later. You know, we're doing a whole podcast and rewatching the whole show and interviewing the actors and actresses 20 years later, and it's still so impactful. So, you know, are we gonna be talking about Shameless in 20 years? Probably not. You know, but The Wire will stand the test of time forever, man. So, Kamal, man, we appreciate your time.
I appreciate you guys.
You got Jesse's contact. Anything that you're working on in terms of if it's a play, if it's, you know, something even for the school, you know, something that y'all are doing, funding, anything that we could probably help you with, man, we'd be glad to. Just tap in with Jesse. Jesse has my number. He'll give you my number too if you need anything, man. We appreciate it. And before we let you go, Kamal, can we just please get please like, share, subscribe? I use it from the actors to I'm gonna clip up the videos from the actors, so I appreciate that, man.
Absolutely. Like, share, subscribe, retweet, whatever you got to do. Get this platform out there. But
Wiretapped Truths.
Wiretapped Truths. The Wire. Greatest show in history.
Thank you so much, Kamal, man.
Thank you, Kamal.
It, man.
And before you go, though, and I just want to say it's great that you mentioned Philip Seymour Hoffman, one of my favorite actors, too. I want to find out, what's your favorite season of The Wire?
Well, the one I'm in, I would say season 4. Season 4, for sure.
Yeah. Good stuff, then, man. Definitely appreciate you, Kamal. Like I said, man, if you ever have any questions, anything you're working on, man, feel free to tap in with us, man. I'd be glad to help promote it. Any screenplays, anything, even if it's just a school play or whatever, feel free to send us the link. I'll put it on all my pages, whatever you need, bro. Feel free to tap in. We appreciate your time. You got kids, you working on plays and stuff, man. So we appreciate you tapping in with us on this morning, man. Blessings to you and your family for
Thank
sure.
you. Same to you all. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm fine. The rest of y'all on Instagram, man.
No, I'll get yours from Jesse, and I'll follow you. Yeah, for sure. So,
all right, sounds good. I appreciate you guys.
Appreciate the time, man. This is us signing off. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, Wiretapped Truths. We will see you all on the next episode for the season finale of season 1. Thank y'all so much.
Who shot Snot?
Y'all have a good one, man. Thank y'all.
You too. Peace.